there, YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review. Today we're excited checking out Outlive from La Boîte de Jeux. This is for 2 to 4 players. Take about 25 minutes per player to play, and it's for ages 14 plus. And in Outlive, this is a worker placement, but actually more of a worker movement survival game where you are going to have your own bunker, you're going to have survivors, you're going to have broken equipment, and you're going to try to fix your equipment, move around the board, go hunting for animals, try to scavenge and scrounge for all the goods and resources you can in this incredibly mean, the game itself is mean, not you being mean to other players, worker movement game. It's got a lot of interesting moving parts and moving pieces, but do they all work well together? Let's open it up, check it out. I do want to forewarn you, the middle part is a little bit longer than I want it to be, like normally 12, I think it's about 12 minutes, but let's open it up and I'll tell you what I got to say. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Outlive. So first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rulebook, 15 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, and it's pretty well done. I felt like it could have been a little bit better. We had quite a few questions about like order of operations and various little things like that. And while most of the answers I felt like they were in the rule booklet, sometimes we just couldn't find exactly where they were. But overall, it's a well done rule booklet. It's got explanation of how all the cards and all the equipment and all the rooms work, which is really nice. So in the end, I can give it a thumbs up, even though I wish it was a tad bit better. So in Outlive, this is a worker placement. It's actually more of a worker movement survival game where you are going to be building your bunker. So you're going to start off, you're going to have this bunker right here, and you're going to be building rooms, you're going to be trying to get survivors, you're going to be hunting for food and getting woods and microchips and water and feeding your people and getting new equipment and upgrading your bunker, but also upgrading the equipment you have, in the hopes of getting survival points. And these survival points you'll get by doing a variety of different things, like feeding your people and keeping them alive, keeping the radiation out of your bunker, solving event cards that will do bad things to everybody, but also, when you solve them, you'll get a bunch of victory points for the end of the game. But let's go over the components, we'll get into the gameplay. So first and foremost down here, you've got yourself your bunker. When you first start the game, you're going to start with these 3 yellow ones right here. Everyone's going to get these rooms. And every single room will have a special ability on it once it is built and it's full of people. So in order to build it, you're going to have to pay the 3 resource costs right here. The resources are these really nice, really surprisingly thick punch-outs of microchips and wood and metal. Yes, there's the wood right there. There's a whole bunch of punch-outs. You also have meat and canned food and water and bullets. But once you build this, you will flip it over, and once you fill it up, you will start gaining this persistent special ability. However, you're going to have to feed all the people in this room, and you're going to have to pay this upkeep cost in the upper right-hand corner. If you don't, your people will die, and that's victory points, so that is bad. So you're going to start off with these 3, and everyone's going to get these 3. But then you're also going to get 6 more of these. So 6 more room tiles like these, and here's the thing, you get to pick 4 of them and you get to immediately put them into your bunker. So already you're kind of customizing, asymmetricizing, that's even a word, your particular bunker. And then to boot, you also get 4 survivors to start off the game, which are these little teeny tiny little heads that are in here, as you can see right there, and you get to flip over and build one of your rooms. So you will have, right from the start, a special ability that most likely no one else at the table already has. So maybe you'll have, you'll be drawing equipment tiles during a certain phase, or maybe you'll have a persistent 1 water, which means it's going to be a lot easier to feed your people, or maybe it's going to be easier for you to get canned goods, or easier for you to do this or do that. But anywho, you're going to start off the game, and you're going to have one of these flipped over, and you will have 4 survivors. Now, on the left track right here is you're going to have your radiation. And this is also victory points. So as you can see, as you go up the radiation track, it says -11, -9. That's how many points you're going to lose at the end of the game, whereas if you can get all the way down here, that's +3 points, which +3 points is pretty dang good. Obviously, if you get to the skull, in most games, skull and crossbones are bad. No difference in this. Around the outside, you're going to have different spots where you can store your water, your food, your metal, your wood, microchips, and ammunition. And what I like about this is it says exactly how much you can carry over from turn to turn to turn, because meat will go bad. So you might get a whole bunch of meat from going out hunting, but it eventually will go bad after this turn. So you got to use it or lose it. And I really like the difficulty level of this game, because you're not able to carry over as much as you would like, and you're not going to have as much as you would like. So that's going to be your little hub right here. Also, it has a rundown on how the night phase works, which is very nice as well. So that's your hub right there. Let's take a look at the board out here. Now, the board is an interesting board because it's a worker movement / worker placement game, but there's only a couple spots to go to. So I'll go over the different spots you can go to. So you go over here, you can get microchips or you can hunt. And I'll talk a little bit more about hunting in a minute. You go here, the first person to go here is going to take the first player token, no matter which spot they take. They're also going to get a survivor, and they're going to get a certain number of canned food. And canned food's really nice because it does not spoil. Over here, you're going to be getting these metal bars, which you'll use to build buildings or repair equipment or do a variety of different things. Now, these two spots are the exact same. So they are different cities. So this is the city of Blackwood, and this is the city of Silent Peak. And when you go to this spot, you have two choices. You can either pick up one of the pieces of equipment that will be out there, and this equipment will be rapidly changing. And also, this equipment, when you first get it, is broken, so you have to repair it. Now, another thing I want to mention about one thing I really love about this game is the fact that you're also going to start with an equipment, and that's based on your leader card, but I'll show you the leader card in a little bit. But over here, you can go get equipment, and as you can see, there's going to be 3 equipment over there as well, or you can go pillaging, you can go looting, you can looking for food, and this might give you something good like algae pills, which is going to bump you down on your radiation track, or wood, or food, but sometimes you'll get empty cupboards, which means you don't get anything, which is a little bit of a bummer. Up here at the top, you can go get bullets, or you can flip this over, and you can lower your radiation by 1 by flipping that over. Up here is where you're going to get water, and you have to feed your people in this game or else they will die, but luckily you can feed them water. So this is a great spot to get a lot of food, quote unquote, really fast. But in order to use the water, you have to get the microchip because the water is really dirty. So you have to get microchips before you're going to be able to get the water. Last but not least, we have the wood spot up here where you can cut down some wood and also you can go hunting. So let's rewind a little bit, and I want to talk about the leaders because it's a really cool aspect of the game. So when you first start the game, I already talked about how you're going to have your own asymmetrical bunker, but you're also going to have your own asymmetrical leader who will start with a different weapon or a different piece of equipment, I should say, not necessarily a weapon. He's going to start with a different piece of equipment and also different starting supplies, and this right here is going to dictate where you put your workers. And the workers in this game are very unique, and I'll tell you how these workers work in a minute. But everybody's going to start with a different starting character, and this will dictate what you start with, where you start, and also the equipment that you have, and that equipment is broken as well, but still more asymmetrical to the game. So now let's talk about these workers, because this is one of the really neat aspects of the game. So with my particular character, I would start one worker over here, one worker right down here, one worker here, and one worker here. Now you're going to notice that there's numbers on the workers. Well, that's because when you go to a spot, it's not like your typical worker placement game where you go here and you get a wood, or you go here and you get a metal. No. The number of actions you can take at that spot is dictated by the number on your worker. So you have 2 3s, a 4, and a 5. So let's just say I took this 4 and I went right over here. That would mean that I could get 4 metal bars, or I could get 3 metal bars and try and go hunting. I'll talk about hunting in a second, but that's what that number is for. Also, when you move, you can never land on a space that you already are. So I would have to go here or here with this character because I could not go here and I could not go here. And you can only move 2 spaces on your turn following these arrows, which are way too faint, but I'll talk more about that in the pros and cons. So let's talk about the hunting. How does hunting work? So you go to a hunting spot, and whenever you move somewhere, you put your character face up so you know that he is activated. And if you wanted to hunt this animal, you would have to spend 4 action points to do it. So if I spent all 4 action points, I would get 2 meat. Now I put this in front of me because I'm a little bit better at hunting this animal. So the next time I hunt this particular type of animal, I would get 3 meat. So let's say I went up here to the woods next. Instead of getting 2 meat, I would now get 3 meat. So the more you hunt of a certain type of animal, the more meat you are going to get. Also, you can use bullets to offset that. So let's just say I had 2 bullets right here. So I got 2 bullets in my starting area, and I'm saying, all right, I'm going to spend these 2 bullets to try and hunt this animal, which means I would only need 2 of my 4 actions plus the 2 bullets, and then I could hunt this. And then I could also pick up 2 of these iron bars and put them into my bunker down below. So that's how hunting works. And there is a limited amount of everything per turn. So you run out of iron bars per turn, tough cookies. You run out of hunting things, animals to hunt in a particular area, tough cookies. It's they're out. Now, that's how hunting works. Let's talk about the other really interesting aspect of this game, which is called pressure. So, how this works is if you take a stronger person, so a stronger meeple, so this is a 5 versus a 4 down here, and you go to the same spot as someone else, and you're both standing up, then you can pressure that person, and now this person has to give you 1 good, because 5 is 1 bigger than 4. So they have a choice. They can either use 1 bullet to kind of scare you off, or they can give you a resource. So that really adds a really interesting aspect to the game, because let's just say there's a 3 over here, and a 3 over here, and a 3 over here. While I might have planned to do something else, if I'm this purple guy, I'm like, holy wow. You know what? I'm actually kind of going to go over here, because now I'm applying 6 total pressure, 2 to orange, 2 to yellow, 2 to blue, which means maybe if they don't have bullets, they're going to have to give me their extra resources. So really interesting aspect of the game, one that I really do like. But those are the different spots that you'll be able to do on the board. You can only move 2 spaces per turn. You can never be on the same spot. And that's what you're going to be doing during the day phase. Now, continuing on over here, we have the event board. The event's going to have 6 events. This will also keep track of when the game will end, and I'll show you how an event works. Pretty much, it will tell you exactly what to do. Thieves decrease the fairgrounds reserve of microchips. So we were playing a 4-player game. We would take away 4 microchips. Now, also on the bottom down here, it has 3 bullets and 2 microchips. And that's what it's going to cost to overcome this event. To overcome this event, you pay that during a certain phase, and I'll talk about the phases in a second, and you'll score 3 victory points at the end of the game. Now, if no one overcomes this event, then the thieves just keep stealing microchips each and every turn, and I have had that happen where people just won't take care of something, and it gets worse and worse and worse. Last but not least, we have our handy-dandy rule card, and that is pretty much the entire game. So on your turn, what you're going to do, at the beginning of a round, you're going to flip over an event card. You're going to deal with whatever that event card is, and then you're going to move all 4 of your workers, and you take turns. So I would move a worker, you would move a worker, I would move a worker, you would move a worker, until everyone has used all of their workers, at which points you get to the night phase, where the first player is going to have the option to overcome this event, and then the second player, then the third player, then the fourth player, and if no one does, then it just stays out there. Then you have to feed your survivors. Now, let's take oh man, I'm getting so in detail here. Feeding your survivors, you have to have a food for every single survivor you have. You also have to have the upkeep cost for every room that you have any survivors in. So let's just say this was the room that I chose to activate at the beginning of the game. If I have anybody in here, I'm going to have to pay 2 more water or canned goods or meat every single turn. Also, you have what's called an airlock up here, which I didn't even really get to. As I said, there's a lot going on in this game. But you have to pay a water upkeep for the rows that you have in the airlock. But the airlock is going to prevent you from going up on the radiation track, because as part of the event, each turn, you're going to have to deal with the radiation. So 1, 2, 2, 2... 3, 3. So and that can really hurt you if you're not messing with the radiation track. But at the end of the game, you're going to score victory points based on every event that you overcame. So these right here, they'll give you the victory points in the upper left-hand corner. You're also going to get victory points for every how many fully populated rooms you have. And this is really hard to get anywhere past 3 or 4 in my experience, especially in a higher player count. You're going to get victory points based on where your radiation track is, either plus or minus. You're going to get a victory point for every survivor you have. You get a victory point for every repaired piece of equipment, which you'll be able to do at the nighttime phase, and that's what you need to repair equipment. And then also, if you can get certain equipment, so as you can see, oh, here we go. Perfect example. If you can get these 2 pieces of equipment that can form this symbol right here, then you'll get 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points. But that's the points you're going to get. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game will be the winner of Outlive. And wow, that in a nutshell is how this game is played. Alrighty then, Outlive from La Boîte de Dieu. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. 2 to 4 players, restricted player count. Also on the con side, this game is mean. Oh my gosh, it's so mean. Not you being mean to other players like an attack, you take that kind of game, but it's just, And it goes with the theme. It's a post-apocalyptic survival game, and you feel the tension. Oh, I'm not going to be able to feed all my people, which means this person's going to die, which means I'm going to lose this special ability of this room, and I really need that special ability. And you're like, how am I going to get all this food that I need when I can only move here, I can only move there, the spot that I want to move to, I already am on that spot. And while I think that is a fantastic aspect of this game, I definitely could see a lot of people not liking that. And I have ran into one person who was like, no, just nope, whole bunch of nope. This game is way too stressful for me. And this game it's a little bit draining, especially when you're first learning the game. And expect about an hour of extra time when you're first learning the game. Our first game capped in about 3 hours, but that's with setup and punching out and everything and learning the rules. But still, there's a lot going on in this game. And while it's a lot easier to teach once you know how to play the game, but as you saw in the middle part, it was just me going, oh yeah, and this, oh yeah, and there's this, oh yeah, and there's this, oh, and this is the some other thing you can do. Oh, don't forget you got this thing going on. So there's just a lot to take in on this game, and I think it's got a steep learning curve, which might be a downer for some people. Another con that I have with the game is, what was it? There was a component con. I don't remember what the component con was, actually. So yeah, the rule booklet. There was the rule booklet. The rule booklet's not a bad rule booklet, but I found myself going to it pretty frequently with like little questions of like, oh, does this happen? When does this happen? When is this before this? Or should this happen? And they're little tiny questions, and I know they're somewhere in the rule booklet. It's just I could not find them as easy as I would like to. And eventually I did end up finding most of the answers, but still, I wish it was just slightly better laid out. Any other cons that I have of the game? Oh, if you have someone who's prone to analysis paralysis, and I didn't realize this when I first started playing the game, but upon playing it a couple times, it's like, oh yeah, this could be a definite analysis paralysis type of game, because you're really restricted in where you can move your people. You're really restricted in what you're trying to get and what you can get, and there's a finite amount of this and a finite amount of that. And if someone goes to a certain spot and just is like, I'm taking 5 water this turn, that might drastically change your plans, because now you're like, oh, I have to go to the water. I have to go to the water right now, but I have to move my guy off the water to get somebody else on the water. But then if somebody else goes on the water, you might be like, oh, now what am I going to do? How am I going to get this food? I need to go hunting, which means I need to go get this ammunition. And also, yeah, I'll get to that in the pros. So it can have analysis paralysis in this game. Any other cons that I have with the game? No. Moving on to the pros, I really like Outlive, and I am keeping Outlive. And I was not expecting to keep Outlive. It's a 2 to 4 player game, which instantly means you have to be the creme de la creme for me, because I don't hit 2 to 4 players games particularly often. Normally, we always have that 5th player, which means we need to have a 5-player game. But this one is good enough that I will be keeping this game, and there's a lot of reasons why. So first and foremost, I love the asymmetrical nature of this game. Everybody's bunker feels a little bit different. You're going to start with a different piece of equipment. Maybe you're going to be gaining more equipment because of an awesome room that you have. And that equipment is where it's at. Once you get some pieces of equipment, it's like, oh, I'm moving wherever I want around the board, or I'm applying more pressure. I've got the 6, I've got the grappling hooks, and now I'm going to be getting 4 canned food, so I don't have to worry about food anymore. Or you got this, or you got that. And I love that aspect of the game. In this game, one of the main reasons I'm keeping it is I can't wait for an expansion. I want an expansion to this game so bad. I want more events. I want more items. I want more things to scavenge for. Maybe like an extra spot to go on the board. I want to play this game right now. And that's another thing. That's another pro of this game. Pretty much everybody I played with it, after they got done playing with it, was like, yeah, I would love to play this again. Not right now because I'm mentally drained, but man, I want to play this again, because this is the kind of game where, especially your first time playing, oh man, that first round or two is going to be rough. And you normally will have it where some of your survivors, it's like, I didn't plan accordingly, half my people are dead, everything's wiped, and you're just like, everything is lost. But the game, it has like this weird, I don't know how to explain it. It's so well designed that even, and this happened, somebody had everybody in their tribe die. Everybody died. That person still ended up winning the game because the next round they had a whole bunch of meat because they didn't have to feed all those people, which means then they could do this and they could do that. And I like the fact that even though you might be down to 1 or 2 people, survivors, it's not the end of the world. I really did enjoy that. So I like the events. I love, and there's a good deal of events. I mean, you're not going to use all the events in the game. I love the fact that there's asymmetrical characters that you're going to start with in different character spots. And despite the fact that it doesn't feel like there's that much in the game, you know, there's only, what, 1, 2, 3, there's only 6 resources in the game. I mean, you only play 6 turns in the game. You only have 4 workers. This game is just meaty. It's a meaty, chunky game. I really enjoyed it. I wholeheartedly recommend Outlive. I liked it at 2 players. I liked it at 4 players. I did not play it at 3 players, so I can't speak to that one. I played it at 2 players once and at 4 players twice. Really enjoy this one. Can't wait for an expansion in the future, hopefully. Hopefully it sells well enough to do it. The theme. Oh, that's the theme. So, mechanism-wise, this is a Euro game. This really is. You can feel it to the core. You're pushing stuff around to get different stuff, so you can do this, so you can build that, but then you're going to be able to get more of these cubes. You could easily have just slapped on a boring theme to this game, but the difficulty of this game, the fact that you can't maneuver as much as you would like to in this game, just the overall feeling of dread that you'll have some turns like, oh god, this turn's going to be terrible. This turn, I'm just dead. That really, it helps push that theme across, and the theme comes across surprisingly well in this game. I like the artwork, even though it's a year mileage may vary. Component-wise, they're very nice components. The meeples are really cool. Oh, the pressure system! Oh, that's probably my favorite thing in this game, is the pressure system. And that's kind of weird, because I really like so much about this game, but that pressure system is so stinking cool, because you might be gung-ho, like, I'm going to go right there. That's where I'm going. That's what I need. But then you're like, there's 2 3s over there, and I've got my 5, and I've got a baseball bat, which means I'm going to be applying 6 pressure to those fools. And that guy's only got 2 bullets, and he's got 1 bullet, so maybe I might want to go here because I know he's probably going to give me that microchip that I want, because, and then you start looking at everybody's board based on how much bullets they have. Oh, I love this game. I want to play this game right now. I want to stop talking about it, and I want to play it. Unfortunately, I'm here by myself, so I can't play it, but I am going to stop talking about it. So that is Outlive from La Boîte de Jeux. Really, really like this game. I mean, the biggest comment I have with it, unfortunately, is that it only goes up to 4 players. So for me personally, it's not going to hit the table as much as I would like it to, but I'm still keeping it. Wholeheartedly recommend it. Outlive from La Boîte de Jeux. One of my favorite worker placement games that I've played in quite some time. So that is Outlive. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. If you could learn 1 skill, if you could master 1 skill right now, what skill would you want to master? Me personally, it would be building robots. I think that'd be an amazing skill to know. I'd build robots and have them do cool stuff around my house. But let me know in the comments below. If you could master 1 skill right now, what would it be? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.